Hey, what is up, guys? I guess I don't really have a channel name yet, but welcome to my magic channel. Um, I wanted to start off my channel with something that I've always really liked with magic, Gaff decks. And over the years, I've collected a fair amount of them. There's a few that I don't have and that I really want, like the Ultra Gaff deck and the Visualized deck, and just one or two other small ones that are out there. But I wanted to go through and rank all of the ones that I like and briefly talk about one or two of the tricks in each one that I personally like, and maybe what are some of the pros and negatives of each deck. So yeah, let's get started. So up first, bottom of the row, we have the Gaff deck by the House of Chuckles. I got this off eBay. I'm pretty sure you can just go and get it at their website, but it wasn't bad at all. I think it was like 16 or 20 bucks. Pretty good price. They have a lot of mostly standard gaffs, like 2-card money stuff, double siders, 14 diamonds. Nothing really that stands out or really worth talking about, but it's overall very nice deck, and it's really convenient that it's just on eBay, so it's really easy. This is probably for beginners really good choice. The only problem is I don't know if there's many instructions, so that might be a problem. Yeah. Next up, let me leave this right here for notice. Okay, next up we got the Jerry's Gaffs. This is a really well-rounded Gaff deck if you own Jerry's Nuggets cards. I don't personally, but I still like the Gaff deck. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. But yeah, again, mostly just a bunch of well-rounded stuff. Nothing that stands out too much. There are a few tricks in here that are effects that are sold on the market, but there obviously aren't instructions for those. So if you happen to know those effects, you can do the tricks already. But if not, you might have to do a little digging for these. But yeah, overall, some good cards. Nothing too much to talk about though. That is number second from last. I guess it's gonna be kind of surprised how many I got. Okay, next up, for a tie, I got we got the White Ghost and the Black Tiger deck. Both Ellusionist decks I do have. This was actually my first ever Gaff deck, so it does hold a little special place in my heart. But both decks, you could pay for a training video that had Justin Miller called Army of 52. Overall, it was a pretty good little DVD with some stuff, but it didn't go over every single card. So there was some where I was confused on what to do with, but it's got, your classics, so you can do like princess card trick, or, there's these like fading queens. I really like that one. You could either start with a blank and then fade it into a full queen, or do the opposite, whatever you feel like. You got one of my favorites, Pip Trip. Do some research into that if you don't know where it comes from. There's a few in here that I'm not super interested in. There's more in the Black Tiger deck. But yeah, so my favorite from here is probably Pip Trip. And then in the Black Tiger deck, a lot of the cards are the same with just a few slight differences. This deck has more Joker reveals, and I'm not too big into those, except for one, which I have a really fun idea for, but I haven't been able to execute, is these two cards right here. You start with like a little dude, and my idea is that you get some like little iron or magnetic pins. Use a raven, have them over the guy. You can wave your hand and be like, oh yeah, it went into the deck or whatever to find it, and then you can swap it out somehow. And you have a nice little reveal with all the pins that you use. So I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting Joker reveal. If you're able to actually, if you do have a Raven, which I don't, and if you use the needles. So both are pretty fun. You can do a lot of fun tricks with both decks. Not bad at all. They are tied for third for last. Okay. Next up, we got the Weapons by Eric Ross. This is a great Gaff deck, especially if you want to use bicycle back cards. Since you can't get either of the Ellusionist ones that were for the red bicycle back, this is probably your best bet for the strongest red back bicycle deck. It also has like Pip Trip. It's got, you know, all the usuals. But it's got some really interesting ones. Like you got some like burn card stuff. You kind of have an Angle Z card, which we'll talk about more in a sec. You know, there's some dumb ones that I would honestly never use, like this farting queen. It's for children, I guess, but you know, it's got some good ones. You have the like Ultra Gaff 2-on-1 thing. Yeah, and they have it for both red and blue. So you're getting two decks in one, kind of, you know. Overall, super solid deck. Goes fourth. Okay, that one doesn't want to stand up. Up next, we have the Arcane Gaff deck by Ellusionist. This one was really fun. It has a lot more creativity than these two Ellusionist Gaff decks. Some of my favorites in there. Let me try and find it really fast. Come on. Here we go. This is one of my favorite cards in here. It's really simple, but it's a little like 9 of diamonds or like 6 of diamonds reveal with salt or sugar. So if you have like Sweet Disposition by Luke, whatever, you could probably maybe combine the two and do something really fun with that. I like this one a lot. Another one that is very fun, great idea, but you can't really use anymore is, where'd it go? Here you go. This little iPhone deck. So you could place it on your phone and it would just be kind of hidden there, like in view, but no one's gonna notice it. And then you could be like, oh, actually, is this your card or whatever? Very fun, but obviously you can't use that anymore because this is for like the OG iPhone. Anyway, pretty fun. Like this deck a lot. And of course, Greg Wilson, great teacher, very fun. Okay, up next, we have the Black Magic Acolytes by Daniel Madison. This deck is really cool. It has a lot of Daniel's like more famous gaffs. You got some cards for doing like center deals and all that kind of stuff. Some like half vanishes. Of course, you have the Angle Z cards, which is one of my favorite gaffs. I bought, we'll get to it in a little bit, but I have so many of these Angle Z gaffs because they're amazing. You can just do the trick and then like write down your social on it and give it to your spectator, and it's basically just a little business card for them to keep, and it's really awesome. Another one I really like is this. You roll it up, put a little Sharpie cap on it, and it's a little Sharpie card reveal. I like this one a lot. It was inspired by one we'll get to in a little bit, but one of my favorites as well. And then most of the rest of the deck is just funny card reveals. Like you have a weird fake credit card with stuff on the back. You got fake shipping label. You got the like Fight Club soap card, whatever. So, great deck. And that one's up next. I will have to say the box is a little bit finicky to get them all in. All right, Now we're getting to the favorites of the favorites. Got 4 left. So, coming in at number 4, we have the Fontaine Illusions pack. This was a really fun collab with Kaylin Morelli, who will show up also later in the video. I guess that kind of gives away what's coming up next, but this is a really fun Gaff deck. A lot of these tricks are not something I would do in real life, but they're great camera effects. If you watch the trailer, like, it just starts off with some of the best tricks where you can hide a pair of iPods in front of someone without them seeing it and then reveal it by turning your camera. It's awesome. These have some really creative Gaff cards that you can do where you like have a card and pull down the pips or whatever. There's a lot of really fun stuff in here. Really fun. Obviously, since it's Fontaine, it's gonna be hard to get. I don't know if you can even find them on eBay. Good luck, but this one is really fun. All right. Coming in at number 3, we have the Cohort Specials Gaff system by Lloyd Barnes and Ellusionist. This is a really fun one. It's got a lot of really fun gaffs, ones that you could do in person or you could do online. There's a lot of different ones you can do with them. What I like about this though is, for the most part, the spectator won't be touching the gaffs themselves, so they'll kind of see it and then it'll disappear and you'll be left clean-ish. But there's some really fun tricks in here. Lots of great cards, you know. I don't want to expose too much, but, you know, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. Another thing though, out of print for a long time, I had to get mine off eBay. So if you want them, you'll have to do it too. And you'll also have to go through a little bit of trouble finding the tutorials for this. I'm not gonna talk about it, but the tutorials are out there. Yeah. Up next, second, we have the Madison Gamblers. These are really fun. And what's fun is because, for the most part, they're completely hidden. Your spectators will never know that these cards existed. And they will let you pull off some really cool looking magic while keeping it less light heavy. You'll still have to do some sleights and stuff, but you aren't gonna have to be doing some crazy knuckle busting stuff to pull out the same effects. Like, if you wanted to do, this is where he introduced some like center deal cards and doing some cool switches for like card hands. And what's great about it is the DVD it came with, the first half of the DVD was going over, is 2 discs. One disc went over all of the tricks, and then the second disc was an interview with some of the top magicians in the profession. You know, you got like Tony Chang, Mark Calabrese, a lot of people. And Daniel Madison just talks about the theory and how they use Gaff cards themselves, and it's really interesting to hear it from the professionals and stuff. Really good deck. Again, eBay only, but there are some floating around. I've seen them on eBay for like $30, so not as cheap as I got them for back when they were on sale, but if you want them, they're still out there. So, all right, and coming in at number 1, my personal favorite Gaff deck, the original Gaff system by Ellusionist, featuring Daniel Madison, Kaylin Morelli, and Eric Jones. Also kind of Adam Wilbur. This deck is just so fun. I wish there was more in this deck, more cool ideas, because what they did was they repeated the same tricks for each 3 colorways of the Artifice deck. So you got the green, there's a blue, and then there's a white. And I feel like they should have just cut out the white and just came up with like 3 more really good tricks. But the fact that it is in both blue and green is very nice, and it has a couple of my favorite tricks ever. It was the one that introduced the Angle Zero Gaff card, which is probably my favorite Gaff of all time. Amazing. I already talked about it, but Daniel Madison, very smart. And also, guess you have to credit Jay Sankey for the Angle Z. But yeah. Another one of my favorites, a little chapstick reveal. And you kind of use chapstick to say, oh, we're gonna put it on this to help us find it in the deck later. Then you go through, you can't find it, you unroll the chapstick, your card. Very fun. I like this one a lot. And last two I will briefly talk about. Meld is one of my favorite torn and restored effects. I haven't cut out this card because I have like 4 copies of this deck because that's how much I like it and I never want to run out. But you got the Meld, torn and restored. They see it restore into, they don't know it's restored yet, and then they like start tilting it up in the air and the cards don't slide down, and then they're like, what am I holding? And they see that they're just holding like a single card. Very fun. I love this. And then last one to talk about briefly, the Tuck Case card. This is a really cool effect, and you technically don't need this card. You can go and just cut up a tuck box of any other deck. It works a little bit easier if it's an actual card because it'll be thinner and easier to hide, but it's a really fun effect. I'm not going to tell you what it's for, but you can do a couple different things with it. Very cool. And I've used that one probably, aside from Angle Z, I've used this the most, the little tuck box. All right, well, that kind of covers my ranking and everything. I hope you enjoyed. I hope if you like any of these decks, you're able to find one online for a reasonable price. I love Gaff decks. They're almost like, cards are already art, but this is a special kind of art that is very fun. I like it a lot. So thank you for watching. I will be doing a review of the Ellusionist How to Read Minds kits coming up pretty soon. So like this video and comment below if you're interested. I want to do a comparison on the two and my thoughts about whether you can get them in the year 2025, if it's a good idea, or if you should spend your money elsewhere. So let me know if you're interested. Another thing I wanted to maybe do was talk about my Magician EDC. So yeah, just leave a comment below. Tell me if you're interested in any of those, and have a good day.